I've dealt with so many toxic people, and I'm dealing with so many toxic people. It's kind of making me sick, you know? It's making me cough. It's like I have some sort of poison inside me. It's really annoying. Well, I might be exaggerating, but that's not really far from what actually happens when you are dealing with toxic people. Today, I am going to talk about something that probably many of us have dealt with or are dealing with right now. Dealing with toxic people is really, really dangerous. But you can actually break out of that cycle and turn that into self-love. And today, that is exactly what we are going to talk about. Before this video starts, I actually want to share a definition with you guys about what I really think toxic people are like. So that definition is, toxic people are like poison. You don't realize it's poison. That's why you get poisoned. The more you interact with them, the more you talk with them, the more you drink it, the more sick you become. The more burnt out you become, the more overwhelmed you become, the more anxious you become. And that is what I think toxic people are really like. At first, you don't really realize they're toxic. You don't really have someone telling you like, oh, that person is toxic. Don't deal with them. But the more you interact with them and the more you get to know them, the more their toxic traits actually show. Sometimes this level of toxicity is really subtle. These are really behaviors you don't actually pinpoint at first. These are things that they do in an undercover way. But with time, you actually start to realize those repetitive behaviors, those repetitive cycles. And finally, it comes into your head how burnt out you become by dealing with these people, how disrespectful and how much drama they always bring into your life. And I'm gonna give you like a really small example of what a toxic trait or a toxic behavior or a toxic person can look like. This is what happened to me. Maybe it has happened to some of you, especially if you are girls watching this video. So there's this day I was about to go out. So I was getting ready, right? I was doing my makeup, doing my hair, putting on a nice outfit, because I like to take care of myself and look presentable, okay? I went downstairs and we were about to have dinner, and there's this person who looks at me and says, we're just going this place. You don't need to do all that. Why all that? You know, why do you look like that? At the time, I actually didn't give an answer. I think I just stayed in silence and I literally said nothing, but it instantly clicked in my mind how toxic that comment actually is. The level of disrespect and jealousy that that comment alone showed was like huge. So after this comment, the person laughed it off. She was like, I'm just kidding. This shows that they don't really want you to understand they're being toxic. They don't really want you to like, oh, that is disrespectful. So they present it as a joke. So it's not too obvious for you to understand they're actually being bad people. So they just laugh it off like, oh, you're so fat. I'm just joking. No, they're not. No, they're not. When I tell you, the people who I thought weren't toxic at all were the ones that, oh, these people are always going to be by my side, they're always going to like me, they're always going to want to be with me, are the ones that stab you in the back. Like that, you know? And when you least expect it, you look back and you're like, it was you all this time? If you think they wouldn't do that, oh yes, they would. Don't take anyone's love for guaranteed. You don't know if that person is going to change tomorrow. You don't know if they're gonna stab you in the back. I'm not saying you can't trust people. You can trust people. Because good people are the ones who are always going to have the same behaviors with you. They're not going to be toxic. They're not going to be jealous, manipulative, egocentric, narcissistic, selfish. they're not going to show traits of that. If they're good, you're going to see it in their person, to see it in their eyes, their attitudes, their soul, that they are good. But toxic people, they're always going to have a little bit of a sprinkle of toxicity in their attitudes and words and behaviors. I mean, it's not like it's going to be super obvious at first and you're literally like aware that they're toxic, like from the first interaction you have with them. It's not going to happen that way, but with time you are going to realize they have this like sprinkle, you know, this like these weird behaviors, these questionable things they say and do that are going to make you realize that they can be toxic, and they are actually toxic. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that you can literally find toxic people in the places you least expect it. That's why I'm warning you. You need to pay attention to your surroundings. You need to pay attention to people's behaviors with you. What are the things they usually say to your face? What are the things that they usually say when you're not around? What are the behaviors they have when you are successful? This one is really important. What are the behaviors these people are having when you are happy in life? When you have like everything in order, your life is basically like the life you always wanted it to have, you know? And they know about that. They know that you are successful, you are in a great relationship, you are traveling everywhere. Notice how those people behave when you are showing you are being successful and happy. If those people are happy for you, I'm telling you, those are good people. Those are the good kind. If they are not really happy for you, they can't really show they're happy for your success, I don't need to tell you anything else. Those are the ones you should stay away from. So now I want to move on to why cutting ties with these people is really important. A lot of the times it takes us months, years. It takes us a lot of time to actually get to the point where you just need to let go, and you know you need to let go. For that, you need to think of this as self-care. Don't ever think you're being selfish just because you need to get away from a toxic individual. This is about self-love because you are doing what's best for you. If these people are like constantly poisoning you, constantly making you feel overwhelmed, constantly making you feel like you're so not worth it, like you're miserable, you're stupid, all you feel when you are around them are these negative emotions. You cannot feel happiness, you cannot feel joy, you cannot feel respect when you are around them. You cannot feel love whatsoever. You can't feel any of those things. So why do you think it is best for you to stay in those relationships? Why do you think it's selfish? It's not selfish. You're removing yourself from toxic like relationships. You are removing yourself from toxic environments. This is not being selfish. You are taking care of yourself, because these people are the people who are making you burnt out. These people are the people who are not letting you sleep at night. And when it starts to look like that, when your life starts to look like that because of someone, that's exactly when you know it's time to let go. A lot of the times, and I talked about this in a previous video of mine, a lot of the times that's exactly what life wants from you. Wants you to move on. Life wants you to move on. Life wants you to keep going and find better, because yes, you deserve better than that. Way better than that. And if you're closing some doors, other doors will open for you. If you lose this person, if you got away from this person, that means another person is just around the corner. That means someone that is way better to you is going to come into your life. You may not believe it. If you're going through this right now, you may not believe it right now, but I am guaranteeing you, and I promise you that you are about to find someone way better than that person? How much more pain do you have to go through for you to realize it is time to let go? These people are not serving you any longer. These people were not meant for you in the first place. When you remove yourself from toxic environments, when you distance yourself from toxic individuals, you will notice how much better your life is going to become. And this is no joke, because I'm telling you, I had some really toxic friendships in the past. Like, as soon as I removed myself from those environments, from those people, my life went from this to like above the roof. My peace of mind finally came in. With those people, I was always anxious. I was always like fearing something they would do, they would say, because they were super toxic. I was almost scared of being around them. I was like, my self-confidence didn't even exist. I felt awful around them. I felt this really bad energy. I felt like they were always like sucking my energy out, you know? Like I always felt really low, really bad about myself whenever I was around them. And whenever I stopped being their friends, my self-confidence almost like kicked in, like boom, there's your self-confidence. She was gone for a long time, like I was missing her, you know? And that's when you know how bad you were. When you leave these people and your life starts improving so much, you're like, wow, this person was giving me so much poison. That's like, now I realize how sick I was, you know? And when you do cut ties with these people, usually they also have like really funny responses. My favorite one is, you've changed. You distance yourself from people. And of course, you change because you realize they're toxic. And because you realize, they're actually being bad people to you. So you remove yourself, right? They notice that. And they see it as like a bad thing.
You shouldn't have done that. You've changed. You are not like this. I don't recognize you anymore. Oh, you're different. Oh, you didn't do this before. Like, this is not something you usually do.
The funny thing is, like, yes, I've changed. Yes, you need to change. That's like delusional for someone to think you're going to still be the person you were 5 years ago. You improve. We need to improve as human beings, and that is really good when it happens. We grow from the pain. When you do get hurt by someone, the good thing is you are 100% going to improve after that. You are 100% going to grow after that. And that's the good thing, you know? So whenever someone has like these things to say about you, like, oh, you changed, you're not like that, I don't recognize you anymore, and that's the whole point. That's the whole point. The whole point of this, of dealing with toxic individuals, is exactly me changing and not being stupid and being dumb to believe that that person wasn't toxic. And I'm not saying you guys are dumb or stupid. We weren't experienced enough to realize that some people were toxic because there was no one to tell us they were toxic. We had to find out by ourselves. So I mean it in that way, like we couldn't tell. But after we grew out of it, we're not going to be dumb again to believe someone can't be toxic. We are not going to be stupid again to believe someone can't be toxic, because we're not going to fall for those traps anymore, because we've learned, right? So now that you finally got away from those toxic people in your life, it's time to shift those experiences into self-love. It's time for you to finally understand that you deserve self-respect and you deserve to love yourself. Self-love is about making choices that respect who you are and respect your boundaries as well. It's not about, being selfish. You're not being selfish. You're actually taking care of yourself and guaranteeing that you don't fall on those same traps, that you don't take disrespect from people like that anymore. So it is really important that you always put yourself first, okay? You are respecting yourself. And when you know something is bad for you, you choose to love yourself instead of continuing to be in those environments, because that's not self-love. Making yourself keep on taking that poison and not doing anything, that's not self-love. This is your sign. You need to get out of that relationship and choose yourself. So that's what you need to do. After those experiences, shift to self-love. Because if you don't take care of yourself, who will? Because if you don't get away from those toxic people, who will? You need to be the one taking the action. And afterwards, you need to be the one taking care of yourself. You need to be the one checking in yourself and being like, okay, what do I need to do now? I need to focus on building self-love, building self-respect. And that's when your life starts flourishing and changing and transforming. And when you grow the most is in those alone moments we all have. That's when you grow the most. That's when you learn the most. And I know it sometimes can be really sad because you feel lonely, but you're not lonely. You just need those alone moments. Everyone needs alone moments because it's when we don't have anyone else to turn to. So we only have ourselves to turn to. And that's when we start reflecting, we start growing, we start flourishing, we start healing, because we can't find this healing outside. So we only have this, and you continue living your life. You build that self-love again, you build that self-respect again. So when those toxic people come into your life again, in the shape of other, human beings, but when that toxicity comes into your life again, you will know already how to deal with it. You will know already that you have self-love and you're not going to let anyone take it away from you. You already have that self-respect and you're not going to let anyone take it away from you. And now to finish off this video, I really want to tell you guys that sometimes choosing yourself can be one of the hardest decisions you can do in your life, but it can also be the most important decision you can do in your life. And you need to realize that the only two things that come after a bad experience is pain and growth. The pain turns into growth. So there's always something positive out of a bad experience. There's always something positive out of a bad relationship, of a toxic relationship. And that's what you need to focus on. Because I'm not saying it's not going to be painful. It is going to be really painful. But you're the one that's going to turn that pain into growth. And that's the most important part of cutting people out of your life. It's the part when you grow and you finally choose yourself. We are finally at the end of today's video. I want to thank you so much for watching all the way until here, and I also want to thank you for all the subscribers, all the support, all the comments, all the likes. I could never express how grateful I am, because it means a lot that people are watching and relating to what I'm saying and in some way being helped, because that's my main goal. It's to help you guys and to make you feel better and to make you feel listened and to motivate you. So thank you so much for being here. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, leave your like and share this video with your family and friends, and see you on the next video. Bye guys.